Have you ever settled into a quiet, ordinary life, only to sense that God might still have something more? Not because you were searching for it, but because purpose sometimes finds us when we least expect it. Calling often begins this way. Moses had once lived in a palace. He had been trained for leadership, surrounded by influence and power. But those years were far behind him now. After fleeing Egypt, he had spent decades in the wilderness, married, raising sons, tending sheep beneath wide desert skies. His life had become simple, predictable, peaceful, and perhaps that felt like enough. Then, one ordinary day, while leading his flock across dry ground, Moses saw something that stopped him. A bush was burning, but it was not being consumed. In a desert, where fire usually means destruction, this flame burned steadily and brightly, yet the branches remained whole. Drawn by wonder, Moses stepped closer, and God called to him from the fire, "Moses, Moses." He called him by name. Before giving instructions, before speaking of deliverance, God told Moses to remove his sandals. The ground was holy, not because of the soil, but because of his presence. Where God reveals himself, ordinary ground becomes sacred. God spoke of his people's suffering. He had seen their affliction. He had heard their cries. He knew their pain. And he was coming down to deliver them, but he would do it through a shepherd. "I will send you." Moses hesitated. "Who am I," he asked, "that I should go?" It is the question every called heart eventually asks. God did not answer by listing Moses' strengths. He answered with something deeper. "I will be with you." The calling did not rest on Moses' ability. It rested on God's presence. When Moses asked for God's name, the answer carried eternal weight. "I am who I am." This name means, I exist. I will be what I will be. God was defining himself as the one who simply is, not shaped by circumstance, not limited by weakness. The one who always has been and always will be. The one who will be whatever his people need him to be. He was not offering a title, he was offering himself. The fire burned without consuming the bush because its power did not depend on the bush. In the same way, the calling placed on Moses would not consume him because its strength did not depend on Moses. It depended on the I am. Long before the carpenter came, God was already revealing his heart. Later, Jesus would speak words that echoed that sacred flame. "I am the light of the world. I am the good shepherd." The I am would walk among his people. Moses did not suddenly feel ready, but he listened. He stood barefoot on holy ground and began to trust that God's presence would be enough. If you find yourself living quietly, wondering whether God still has a purpose for you, remember this story. Holy ground may appear in ordinary places. Calling may rise from faithful routines. And the God who is, the I am, still promises to be with you. This story comes from Exodus chapter 3. God's revealed name and his promise to be with his people are fulfilled in Jesus, who walks with us throughout the Gospels. If this story was meaningful to you, please consider liking and subscribing so you can continue walking with us through this series. We're glad you're here. This has been Before the Carpenter Came from the Cardinal and Dove.